What is up, everybody? We are back in the Lasagna show after a sweep of the Kansas City Royals. That was a high-scoring affair, 1-0. Man, the Pablo Reyes legacy game. I know you didn't expect to see it before the game, but you got yourself the Pablo Reyes legacy game that he'll forever be remembered for going forward. So you should feel like you saw a treat tonight, and you did. Crazy, man. You know, it was one of those situations where Aaron Judge didn't get the start. You know, you got JC Escara in there. You got Pablo Reyes in there. You got a few guys in there that aren't everyday players. And it felt like a punt game. You know, it's one of those games where, Seth Lugo's pitching pretty well. He's at home, big ballpark. Not our best lineup. You figured, it's probably a punt. We might take a nail here and then head to Boston and see what happens. But that's a gritty win, man. Not a lot of scoring. Scratched across a run there pretty late, and now we're looking pretty good after a sweep there and heading to Boston feeling better about ourselves. So definitely exciting, even though not a lot of scoring, definitely an exciting ending there. Devin Williams comes in, absolutely shuts the fucking door. I don't want to start any conspiracy theories here, all right? Don't call me a crazy guy. But ever since I added him to my fantasy team, he's been fantastic as a closer. Got to say, just throwing it out there. Coincidence? I think not. But yeah, love to see Devin Williams doing that. And thank the Lord, Loaizaga gets his one inning. He's got his one clean inning. Don't try to steal outs and put him back out there again for the ninth or whatever the type of bullshit they keep doing with him with these second innings of work after he has a clean first. Let Loaizaga get his clean first. Let him walk into the dugout and leave him the fuck alone. That's it. That's all I ask for. So great to see that happen. What is up, everybody in the chat? We got some comments rolling in here. Let me read some of these real quick. Matt B says, big W. Ray C says they're all not going to be fun wins, but we'll take it. It's pretty fun for me, pal, especially the rain delay Twitter space. Man, if you weren't there, or I got some dust on me or something. What's going on up here? Anyways, unbelievable. Jersey's fucking stained. Whatever. Back to the comments. Joe says the JV team won today. Absolutely, man. And when you got depth, when you got a squad that can go out there and still handle business without your best guys in there, that's definitely an encouraging sign. Depressed New York sports fan says, where's Stroman going to fit when he comes back? I hope he fits nowhere and he takes the rest of the season off personally. He'll probably be, blowout type of guy. If the Yankees are winning by a lot or losing by a lot, he's going to come in and mop it up, eat some innings, save some bullpen. That's probably going to be the best situation for Stroman there. And I don't hate him for that role. Go in there, throw strikes. If they keep hitting homers, whatever. If the Yankees are up big, he can't really hurt them if they're up like 10. So bring Stroman in to eat some innings, save the pen in the blowout, and that might be the only situation where he makes sense for this team. So we'll see how that plays out when he enters into the picture here. Let's see, Twitter user. It looks like it's just a period. I'm not sure what your name is there, but it says can't lie. I sprinkled a little cash on KC with no Judge. Look what you did. You cost yourself money and you watched the Yankees win while you were rooting against them. Not a good thing, buddy, there. Fire Frank says, oh my God, seriously, did that game just happen? It sure did, pal. It sure did. And Frank says, and my fantasy team as well held on to him through the tough times. Devin Williams, there you go, man. I did not have him early on because I wanted to stay as far away from him as possible. But after, he's Devin Williams like my fifth closer in my fantasy team. So if Weaver's going to be out for a while, Devin Williams isn't going to shit himself every time. There's going to be some opportunities where he does get some saves there. So I will steal some points there. And get my Devin Williams save fill as much as possible. He looked good tonight. If he can keep doing that going forward, that'll be huge. Tina says, facts, Frank. JC says, yo, why are the Royals so poverty? Their offense is not good. Not a good offense. The Yankees did what they were supposed to, This was a get-right series for the Yankees pitching. Get in there, hold the Royals offense down, get your shit going, attack the strike zone, be aggressive. Get 3 W's and go to Boston and go handle some business. So it's exactly what they did. Love to see it. And we move. Bernard says 4th 1-0 win, right? I would have to check on that, but if that's the case, that's great. I mean, it shows that you can win. The Yankees offense being one of the top ranked offenses in all of baseball, it shows you can win big. shows that you can win when you only scratch across a few runs. So definitely a great sign from a team that has World Series aspirations. You got to win in multiple different ways. So definitely good to see. Lakers in none. That's a pretty funny Twitter handle there. Good win today. Try to win 3 in Boston. Absolutely. You got some good pitchers on the hill. Looking for Yarbrough to rebound. I think Carlos Rodon and Max Fried going in Boston. So definitely looking forward to that. Trevor Hauer says Anthony Richardson. Don't get me on an Anthony Richard tangent over here, man. Yankees just swept the Royals. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling all right. I just can't. You can't get me all worked up over Anthony Richardson right now because I can go on a tangent and nobody wants to hear that. Bernard says we own KC. I think we swept it for the season, right? I think we won 3 in New York and 3 in KC, so that should be a season sweep there. Bernard says have for a while now, absolutely, especially dating back to last year in the playoffs. I mean, KC does not want to see us at all. Tina says, does Pablo get DFA'd? Probably when Stanton gets back. I would assume that is the logical move to follow, but things are. They might do something else with a pitcher or something. You never know with this team, so I wouldn't cross your fingers there. But today we are celebrating Pablo Lopez as the savior of the New York Yankees, scoring the only run. Sometimes baseball play. When I was in high school and playing in college, we did agility drills and stuff, and some of the other kids on other teams, soccer, basketball, like football. Why do you guys do agility drills? You guys are baseball players. Like, you guys don't need that shit. What you saw Pablo Reyes do there by going to third, running home, going back to third, pivoting, twisting, going back home. That is agility right there, ladies and gentlemen. And Pablo Reyes had enough of it to get up off of his ass after tripping and get into the plate. And I thought the throw was going to get him. I thought, basic throw would get him, beat him by 3 or 4 steps. But throw looked kind of low. Catcher couldn't handle it. Ball kind of squirted away there. So very excited for Pablo Reyes, who's personally my GOAT. I mean, how can he not be my GOAT? Delivering for the New York Yankees tonight in a big way. He had a base knock. He scored a run. I mean, what else do you want from the guy? He's our savior. Bernard says, I love the guy, Bobby Witt Jr., but has a Yankee problem. He's 0 for the playoffs last year. Weirdest thing. Yeah, sometimes, guys as they're coming up, becoming superstars, there's a few hurdles they got to get over first, and it looks like Yankees might be a hurdle for him. So good problem for us because that motherfucker's good. So if I look a little red here, I got absolutely cooked today. My car's getting service, so I was walking to the gym. I walked to the park to get some cardio in. I walked, walking all over the place. Sun felt good. Get home, I look like a lobster. So if you see a little bit of red here, then that's what happened. So just gonna preface my statement there by giving you heads up. Information you didn't want to hear, but there you go in case you're wondering. Trev MVO says Pablo was one step ahead. Kinda. I think he should have been out, but luckily it wasn't a great throw. Catcher couldn't handle it, and then we win the ball game there. So let's get cracking into some numbers here real quick. So Will Warren was on the hill, looking to continue pitching well this season. No, we had the hiccup against the Dodgers, but take that one away. I mean, you can't really take it away, but if you look at some of the starts around that poor start, he's been really good lately. Very encouraging sign from him. He controls a handful of pitches. He emphasizes a few of them more than others, but his stuff looks good. Throwing the sinker, throwing the 4-seam. He's got a changeup in there. He's going sweeper. So things are looking good. The velocity has played a little bit up, better than I expected. I think he averaged about 94-ish. I think he was up to 95 today on the 4-seam. So that was fantastic. He went 5 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, only 1 walk. That's huge. Will Warren, we know, has some control problems sometimes. Definitely want to see him out there pounding the strike zone, trusting his stuff, being effective in the strike zone, effective out of the strike zone with 2 strikes, and that's exactly what he did. Had 4 strikeouts today, so absolutely fantastic. And it was nice to see him come out of the rain delay, 20-minute roughly delay, come out there. You can get stiff in the dugout. Your legs can cramp up, shoulders a little tight. You got to re-warm up. It's not an easy thing to do. So for him to come back out, it looked like he didn't have great feel right out of the delay. But he battled through it. I think he gave up a hit, and then he fell behind 2-0 or 3-1. I think he battled back, ended up getting out of the inning, not giving up a run. So, for a young pitcher to come in and handle some adversity like that, that's fantastic. That's something we love to see. And, the Royals offense ranks, among some of the worst offenses in all of baseball. So you want to see Will Warren trust your stuff, get in there, battle, attack the strike zone. Don't be afraid of these guys and go right after them. And that's exactly what he did. So very exciting there. He was 47% four seam tonight, so almost exclusively 50% on that four seam, attacking the strike zone, using that fastball in every count, which was great. Maximum 95 miles per hour, which was fantastic. The second most used pitch tonight was the sweeper at 23%. So that's pretty much 75% four seam fastball sweeper. He's got some elite pitches with some great metrics, great spin rates. His stuff plays up for sure. The Yankees love it. All the metrics guys love his stuff as well. So he's out there working with what he's got with the best pitches that he has, and he's emphasizing those the most. 17% sinker, up to 95 miles per hour tonight. He got 30 swings total and only 5 whiffs. So, you want to see a little bit more whiff there, but, it was a solid outing. Some nights you're going to have to pitch to contact. Some nights you're going to have everything going. You're going to stack up a bunch of strikeouts. That's just how things go sometimes. But nice to see him, navigate a lineup and get outs on the road when he's not getting a ton of whiffs. So love to see that. What's interesting is they were showing some stats, how the batting average against kind of increases as he gets first, second, third time through the order. And then he has some very interesting splits with the bases empty versus with the runners on. So this is interesting. When the bases are empty, the opponent batting average is 191. So that's fantastic. That's super low, under 200. When runners are on base, that opponent average goes up to 318. So, okay, why is that? Maybe his stuff isn't as good from the stretch. Maybe he's not comfortable from the stretch. When I used to pitch, I didn't feel very good from the stretch unless I can add a leg kick. But, with runners on base, you're afraid of them stealing, and you can't really get a full leg kick sometimes. You got to go slide step to be quicker to the plate and make sure you're delivering the ball to the catcher in a timely manner to give them opportunity to throw the runner out. So maybe it's a slide step thing. Maybe he's just, more comfortable and has better rhythm from the windup. Maybe he's thinking about the runners too much while runners are on. Who knows? There could be a variety of different things, but it's not uncommon for a young pitcher, and we look forward to him, working on that. I know they know these numbers on the side. Obviously, if it's on the Yes graphic, the Yankees know about it. So I'm sure they're working, working the kinks out behind the scenes, maybe working from the stretch a lot in bullpen sessions, trying to figure out what that issue might be. So interesting thing to watch going forward there. When bases are empty, the opponent's slugging percentage is 309. When runners are on base, his opponent's slugging percentage is 529. So that's a 220 point jump. Bases empty versus runners on. So definitely something for him to figure out there. First time through the order, opponent batting average is 229, really good. Third time through the order, 357. So that's a huge increase. Could be him getting tired towards the end of the game. Could be, major league hitters seeing his stuff more throughout a game and starting to time things up a little bit. It could be either thing, but that's the case for most pitchers in baseball. Most of them are not going to be as effective first time through the order as they will be second or third time through the order. That's pretty natural. But opponent slugging percentage first time through the order is 314, third time through the order 429. So the Yankees are aware of these numbers. They let him get a couple outs there before getting to the lefty. I think it was Pascatino, and they brought in Tim Hill. So that was fantastic. Will Warren did his thing, got the hitters out that he needed to get out, paved the way for Tim Hill to come in and get his lefty and move on. Hold that 0 up on the scoreboard and take it through the end of the game. So it was interesting because 1-0 game. You got Mark Leiter Jr. coming in. Loizaga is going to come in. Devin Williams is going to come in. So you're sitting at the going, man, I hope we can hang on to this 1-0 lead. You can't. There's really no margin for error there. One run ties it. So it was nice to see Mark Leiter Jr. kind of work out of a jam there. He gave up a hit, but he got one out. Only give up one hit, and he did his thing. Loizaga came in 1 inning, gave up no hits. I think he only threw 8 pitches. Efficient. He was sitting 96, 97. And I think that's something, we're watching the velocity closely with him. He's had shoulder issues before. He has elbow issues, forearm flexor, tendonitis stuff. There's been some arm issues there. So we don't know what the new Loizaga velocity is going to be. Is he going to be 96, 97 the rest of the year? Is that just the new version of him after this injury? Do you think the velocity is going to come back? I'm someone that thinks he can get 2 more ticks on that sinker and get it to 98, 90, 99-ish more consistently like he used to. He's probably still working through some things. He missed a long time. It's a long recovery process and rehab and all that kind of stuff. So the good thing is he's back. He looks effective when he's first inning of work. He looks really effective. When they try to steal that second inning or have him come back out, doesn't look as effective, but it's going to be a process. The good thing is he's on the team now. It's June. There's time for him to work through these kinks. The Yankees, are having success. The record's good. They got a pretty decent lead in the division. Things are going well. So this is the time where you want to see Lasagna coming in, working on his stuff, improving as we get to the trade deadline and get past that. And hopefully by September, he's throwing 98, 99 consistently and being that elite setup man that we know he's capable of. So very exciting there. Devin Williams, very solid inning himself. His last 15 games, he's got a 1.98 ERA. That's solid, man. And for a reliever, especially, I mean, you're getting a ton of work. Today, he had his 29th game of the season already, so he's on track to go past 60 appearances, which is a lot. But if he can continue to do what he's doing until Luke Weaver gets back, I don't think Devin Williams will stay the closer, even if he's having success. I think Luke Weaver has to be given that back, just because we've seen the hiccups with Devin Williams more often than we've seen them with Luke Weaver. So when Luke Weaver gets back, he's got to be back in the close role, no questions asked. Not going to mess around and leave Devin Williams there, even if he's done well. Devin doing well means Devin will do well in the setup role too, where he was better than when he was closing. So nice to see him rounding into form here and being the guy that we were looking forward to. Not just the guy that everyone was saying, he's not made for New York. He's going to be known as the guy that eliminated the beard rule forever, and he can't even pitch here. All the shit he was getting for that. So, nice to see Devin Williams doing his thing, man. JC Escar had a double. Not a whole lot of offense. Trent Grisham had a base knock. Paul Goldfish had a base knock there. JC Escar had 2 knocks. Very solid. And then the infamous Pablo Reyes, the legacy game, had his knock. That ended up being very important because he came around to score a run there and give the Yankees their only run. Looking at some comments real quick. Bernard says the pitcher learns that to vary it up, have to change patterns. Yeah, and some of that is the catcher too. The catcher is going to understand the pitch sequences that they were going through first time through the order, and you can either switch things up second time through, or you can go with what was working. So there's a couple different philosophies. It also depends on what you have working for that day. You might have, you might throw 4 or 5 pitches, but on that day, 3 of them feel really good. The other 2 don't. So there's a lot of different factors that goes into that. But he is young. You're right. He is going to learn how to navigate a lineup, read swings, pitch based on some of the information he's getting in real time. Reading, if a guy's late in the heater, you don't want to follow up with a breaking ball and speed up his bat. You want to go heater again, maybe elevate it a little bit, and set the next pitch up, and see if you can get that swing and miss on the heater. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. Pitch sequencing and all that kind of stuff can get a little complicated. It just depends on what a guy throws, what he's comfortable with. Is he good throwing certain pitches inside more than outside? Does he have one side of the plate where he locates better? There's a lot of factors that go into it. Someone might have a running 2-seam fastball and they like to start it on the outside corner to a righty as a right-hander and have it tail over the outside corner. Maybe they don't want to pitch inside because they feel like it'll run too far inside. So there's a lot of different factors that goes into, how do you attack hitters multiple times through the order? What are you comfortable with? What are hitters expecting versus what are your strengths? Maybe a hitter's expecting something that is what you want to do. Maybe you pride yourself on that breaking ball down and away. Maybe that hitter's looking for that. So, some of those things come into consideration, but that's why you have a good catcher that understands you. They understand what your stuff looks like that day. You have good coaches, you have good pitching coaches, you have a solid game plan before the game, you have good scouting reports. So a lot of those things factor into how good he can be multiple times through an order. But I think naturally for most pitchers, you're not going to be as good second and third time through the order because major league hitters are phenomenal. I mean, sometimes we give them too much credit, but they deserve the credit because major league hitters are just special, especially Aaron Judge. This guy's a freak of nature. If you show guys certain pitches and they get accustomed to the velocity, they get accustomed to the spin, they understand your patterns in terms of where you're comfortable late in the count, how you're trying to get them out, they're going to figure that out and they're going to get to you. So, if you have phenomenal stuff and you can just pour that stuff in there, maybe second or third time through the order, you can still be effective. But, a guy like Will Warren, his velocity tapers off a little bit as he gets through a game. That, 94-ish kind of turns into 92, 93-ish. So, something to look forward to. But I think he's still a young guy, too. I think he can still get stronger. I think his velocity can still play up. Very promising. He's had some fantastic starts. Let me check real quick. I mean, outside of that Dodgers start, it feels like he's had, 5 or 6 quality starts. Let's take a quick peek at the game log here. So obviously Dodgers was horrible, worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life. And I was there in person for it, so not great. So May 9th, 7 innings, 1 run. May 14th, 5 innings, 2 runs. May 20th, 5 innings, 0 runs. May 25th, 4 innings, 2 runs. June 6th, he did go 5 and give up 4. That was against the Red Sox. I think Boone did try to steal some outs within there. He should have been pulled before that, but, it is what it is. And then June 12th, 5 innings, 0 runs. So, you had the Dodgers series that was bad. Then you had one start against Boston that wasn't great because he was a little overextended. But since May 9th, he's been pretty solid. He's starting to kind of look like Clark Schmidt a little bit in terms of, you can expect to maybe get 5 innings out of him, 3 runs or less with a pretty dependable stuff, and he can get some strikeouts as well. So very, very nice to see Will Warren rounding into form there. And as we go forward, I mean, he's got I believe he was in the minor leagues throwing 130 to 140 innings pitched. He did that a couple times. So I have to go back and check for sure, but he's not a guy that you have to worry about workload and limiting his innings. And, as he gets to a certain point, having to tone him down a little bit. He's a bona fide starter. He's been a starter. He's used to the workload. So it's nice to see him, round in the form, be the guy we expect him to be with how good his stuff is. And it's exciting to watch. So very encouraging there. Getting through some comments here real quick. Jeremy says, bring on the lasagna. I was worried about Williams going into the 9th, but he looked good. Yeah, he did look really good. I mean, naturally, we're going to be worried every time because we have seen the bad. But it's kind of balancing out now where we've seen enough good to where we have a little bit of confidence in him. Not a ton, but it's getting to a point where we can kind of, okay, hopefully this is another one of his good days. Like he's, building some momentum, start stacking up those good days and putting together, a good stretch of good appearances so he can not only build his own confidence, but build confidence in the fans. Because you can feel that nervous energy in the ballpark when a guy's a little shaky. So, Devin Williams wants to be embraced by the fan base. He was getting booed at one point. It was not good for him. He had some rough interviews with the media. So he wants to earn the respect of not only the media, the fans, but for himself. So nice to see him build some confidence. Come in 1-0 game, no margin for error. He came in, locked it down. That's very encouraging. So definitely would love to see him continue to do that for sure. Bernard says Warren is still green, needs time. Yeah, he's navigating his way through major league lineups during a full season for the first time. So it's nice to see him adapt and adjust and learn on the fly here, and he's doing a pretty damn good job of it. Logan says punt lineup for the W. Hell yeah, man. When you can put your punt lineups out there for a W, it's a good time. Bernard says, given the situation, what he has given us, Warren is a godsend. Absolutely. I mean, with losing Louise Hill and Garrett Cole early in the season, I mean, we were scratching our heads going, where are they going to get innings from? So, Will Warren had a fantastic spring training. We saw how good the stuff was. He was stacking up strikeouts. He looked phenomenal. So he, stepped right in. He got his opportunity. It wasn't great at first. He was still working out some kinks, but he has found his groove the last, couple months. And it's been really fun to see. He's been logging innings. He's been giving them some depth, giving them some length in that rotation, and it's only going to save the bullpen. And the bullpen's taxed even with him doing that. Imagine if he wasn't doing that, or if we didn't have him as an option. The bullpen would be absolutely spent right now. How many more Cookie Carrasco starts and Marcus Stroman starts could you have lived through? I didn't live through many more of those. So we're lucky to have a Will Warren in there doing his thing. Logan Lamas says Jazz needs to fix his nuts. Fix his nuts. Groin. I just got not exactly your nuts. I know you know that. I'm just messing around, but yeah, he needs it sounds like it could have been a lot worse, and it's not as bad as they initially thought it could be. So hopefully that groin heals up quick and he's playing in Boston and doing his thing. So we definitely need him. I'd love to see him come back and Stanton come back, and we have we build on this dynamic offense and make it even better. Because you're going to need it when you face good teams in the playoffs. Some of the best pitching in baseball, especially if you end up facing the Tigers and you got to face Schoolbowl and their bullpen, Jack Flaherty, Casey Mize, and some of the other guys in that, in that Detroit group. You're definitely going to need all the offense you can get. It's going to be a good test. Mason Rosenberg says, do you do one of these lives after every game? Not after every game, Monday through Thursday, every week. The only reason I hadn't done it very recently because I was in Anaheim and LA for those Dodgers and Angels series. But yeah, I mean, if I'm home, work restricts me a little bit on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I do work weekends, but Monday through Thursday, you can count on me definitely coming on here and talking some baseball. I want to make this show more interactive, so I'm working on that stuff behind the scenes. And I love having you guys in here. It's really fun. I've enjoyed it a ton. It's been a little over a month since I started doing this, so definitely enjoy it for sure. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, and you're watching on Twitter, I think it looks like we have over 800 in here. Great to have you guys on here. Go to my Twitter page, click the blue link in the bio, subscribe to the Lasagna Show, like this video, and we'll be doing these rest of the season and beyond. So it's going to be a good time. There's a possibility I might do these during the games occasionally, like a live kind of thing. We did a Twitter space today during the game, and there was a few folks asking about maybe having an interactive kind of in-game thing. So it's possible. It just depends on what happens, but I'm still working on ways to make this little project of mine more interactive so we can have some more fun on here. But Gina said Monday through Thursday. Thank you so much for having my back there. Ray C says he does weekdays, Mason. Yep, Monday through Thursday. Toe Lag says hi. What is up, Toe Lag? Thanks. Nice to have you in here. DJ Duke says, do you think Pablo Reyes gets DFA for Stanton? I mean, that's the most likely move for sure. But hey, at least if Stanton comes up tomorrow and Reyes gets sent packing, at least he left his mark on one game and gave us a good lasting memory of his tenure as a Yankee. So we will take it. You might as well go out with the Pablo Reyes legacy game if you're going to go out at all. So our lasting memory will be him lying on the floor with his arms and legs spread out after getting home and beating that throw. So that's kind of fun. Bernard says, and think of what Yarbrough has done. He's been phenomenal. They changed his changeup grip, just a slight adjustment, and he's been great outside of that last start. He's going to get another crack at him tomorrow in Fenway. It's not ideal soft throwing lefty against right-handers in that ballpark with the Green Monster. It sounds like a recipe for disaster, but if he can bust that cutter inside on those right-handers and then mix in that changeup down in a way to get him out, he can definitely have success. These crafty guys got to rely on being pinpoint accurate, changing speeds, mixing things up, getting guys out, in multiple different ways, multiple times during a game. And Yarbrough's good at that. He's a veteran. He understands what he's good at, what he's not good at. He understands what his stuff, his stuff kind of limits him sometimes, but it also could be beneficial because his average velocity is under hitting speed in the major leagues, which is about 94-ish. So, he's in there 88, 89 sometimes, but, he's got good movement on the cutter, good changeup, and the rest of his stuff's pretty decent. So look for him to bounce back tomorrow. If you got him in fantasy for some crazy reason, I probably wouldn't start him just in case. But, as a baseball watcher and Yankee fan, I'm hoping he can figure things out and learn from what happened last time and fix it. So will be interesting to see if he can do that tomorrow. Next, TBG says, better lucky than good. Yankees managed to win even when Bot Boone took all the hot hitters out of the lineup. Maybe it's Boone, maybe it's Chat GPT. Maybe he just goes, what should I do with the lineup today against Seth Lugo? And Chat GPT's like, you gotta bat Pablo Reyes third. He is an RBI machine. Chat GPT might have known that today was the Pablo Reyes game before he possibly gets DFA'd. So I would not rule out AI playing a big factor there. Fire Frank says, better to go out on top. I'm still terrified of playing in Fenway no matter when it is. Need to grind out 2 wins somehow. Absolutely. We got Max Fried and Carlos Rodon both on the hill in that series again. Hopefully Carlos Rodon does not give up another 3-run bomb to Carlos Narvaez because that made his line pretty ugly there. And he got outdueled by the Turbo Ginger. So that kid is still talking about that. And it's something about his dad's story to him about getting let go from the Yankees or something and being friends with Andy Pettit, something like that. He's still talking about it today. Like, dude, give it a rest. Stop answering these damn questions. Make that story go away and just go pitch. Like, that's what I would do. I don't know why he keeps bringing it up because it makes him look more and more dumb, but whatever. Stan the Man says, hi, Johnny. What is up, my man? Thanks for being in here. Fire Frank says, I think ChatGPT might be smarter than Boone. You're not wrong there. You know, the internet and the power of AI is probably smarter than a lot of human beings, but we'll leave that alone. Stan the Man says, Giancarlo coming back. I would like to see him back tomorrow for the Red Sox series. It does feel a little bit early, though. Wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't come back for this series and maybe comes back on Monday. But good chance he's on the phone with Aaron Boone and said, "Get me to Boston, buddy. I'm ready to roll." So we'll see if that happens, and I would love to see him back in there because we can definitely use him, especially if he's feeling good and he's his bat speed is back and his reaction time is good and he feels comfortable in the box and he's facing Garrett Crochet. That'd be a nice matchup for us to have a power right-hand bat in there against a power lefty. So would love to see him back for sure. And I said it yesterday. I have so much respect for the guy after the playoffs he had last year. In moments when we were counting on Aaron Judge and it wasn't happening early in the World Series, Giancarlo Stanton had the stoic look. He looked dependable. He was tough. He looked like a fucking badass. He was up there hitting the bomb off of Jack Flaherty over the damn foul pole in L.A. Tip of the cap to Giancarlo Stanton, man. He does not deserve another word of slander for the rest of his Yankee career. He held up his end of the bargain and did his thing when our MVP was struggling. So I got to respect it. I got to respect the hell out of it. There's going to be times where he's striking out a lot. There's going to be times where he gets thrown out on the bases because he can't move very well. It is what it is. It comes with the territory. I think his contract's over in a couple of years anyway, so there's not much more left of him. But when that calendar flips to October, he's going to be ready, and he's going to, punish some opposing pitchers when they make mistakes. So look forward to having him back in the lineup. But overall, very fun series here. 3 W's. Yankees improved to 42-25. That's a very nice looking record there, I got to tell you. Currently 4.5 above Toronto. We'll be playing Boston tomorrow, up 9.5 on them. So hopefully grow that lead in the division over Boston. Especially, they might have a run in them in the second half. You never know. They have some good players on that team, especially if their starting rotation gets healthy. So, you want to bury a team like that as much as possible early. So it makes it impossible for them to come back, even if they do heat up. So looking forward to it. Bernard says Stanton is like, oh my God. You can't compare Stanton's homers to Boone's lucky home run off a knuckleballer. Come on, man. He had the homer off of Bybee. He's had previous playoff success before that. He had the home run in the World Series. Stanton, when the calendar, say what you want about him in the regular season, but when the calendar flips to October, Stanton is ready to roll, and he's one of the most potent bats left in the playoffs. So I look forward to getting him back for that reason only. He said it doesn't give him a lifetime pass. There's not much lifetime left in his contract as it is. He's going to be, 2 more years at the most? So, it is what it is. He's towards the end of his career, but what he is really good at still is hitting in the playoffs, and he does still hit for power when he's healthy. He's one of those guys where you got to limit his workload. Tell him not to try to stretch a single into a double. Try not to go first to third. Don't overexert yourself on the base paths. There's going to be a month where he looks terrible at the plate during the regular season, striking out all the time. I get it. It's frustrating. It doesn't look good. Sometimes he could be a frustrating player to watch, but he usually follows up that slump with another great month after that, hitting maybe 10 homers in a month. When the playoffs start, he's going to be good. So he's one of those players you just got to roll with the punches. It's going to be a roller coaster ride of his season when he's in there every day. So you just hope there's more bad than good, and this contract ends in a good way where he ends up becoming a World Series champion and continuing it in the playoffs. So fingers crossed that he is the best version of himself when he gets back. Bernard says if he starts Kane, you'll be the first to want him. No, I know it comes with the territory with him. I'm not crazy. I'm not expecting him to hit 320 when he comes back. The guy striking out is part of Stanton's game. He's somewhat of a guess hitter. He looks for a certain pitch in a certain zone. It is what it is. There's going to be times where he struggles, but I know in a couple weeks after that, he's probably going to start hitting again. And I know come October, he's going to be him. He's going to be himself in the playoffs. He's going to hit. So if nothing else, I'm waiting for him to hit in the playoffs. If there's nothing else to look forward to, that's the only thing. So it is what it is. He's on the team. He's not going to be going anywhere. He's going to, live out the remainder of his contract on the Yankees, and it is what it is. Stan the Man says, what's your prediction for tomorrow? Let's take a peek. Yarbrough versus Crochet again, man. I mean, if Stanton comes back tomorrow, I'd love to see him in there, but no Jazz. Crochet is tough on lefties as it is. I would say it's hard to see Yarbrough getting hit that hard again. I think he gave up 7 runs in like an inning or 2, so that's a lot. Crochet gave up 5 runs. I think he will be better at home. I think it'll be a close game, maybe a 5-5, 7-5, late into the game, and see where that goes. But there's going to be offense. There's going to be crazy things that happen. The series they just had in the Bronx, every game was unpredictable. 2 or 3 runs was never going to be enough. The offense was doing its thing on both sides, and there was no lead that was safe. So I think the same is going to continue for this series. Hopefully the Yankees can outlast them. It's going to be one of those high-flying, high-offense series as compared to this Royal series where there wasn't a ton of offense from the Royals side at least. But this is going to be more of a balanced offense series as we saw in the Bronx. Donnie says, I'm throwing that fastball at the end to Guts. Yeah, did he froze up Caglione there with a heater that was kind of set. But when the changeup's that good, you can get away with sneaking a heater by a guy sometimes. So love to see that. Donnie Clark says Big G is big in the postseason. He absolutely is. Some guys got the clutch gene, man. Some guys got it. Some guys don't. Stanton's got it. There's not a ton of guys you can depend on in the lineup every time in the postseason, but I know for a fact when the playoffs start, Giancarlo's going to hit. It is what it is. It's like the leaves start changing colors a little bit, and Stanton's spidey sense kicks in and he just hits everything. It's the craziest thing. Fire Frank says, what's the alternative? Isn't like Peraza, Vivas, Reyes to take the world by storm? That's true. That group has not been that good, so it's going to be interesting to see how they rotate Ben Rice and Stanton. Stanton's going to be DH all the time. He's not going to play any defense, as we already know. So I'm going to have to mix in some Rice at first base, maybe some catcher every now and then. But, good problem to have. Either way, you're going to have a pretty good hitter in there. So we will see how that goes. Alex Henner says, always seems like the Yankees can't ever have a player come back without someone else going down. Hopefully Jazz Green isn't a big deal. That's very true. I thought about that the other day. Like, damn, just as we were getting close to having, a fully healthy lineup, Jazz has to tweak something. But sadly, this is part of the Jazz experience. Last year down the stretch, we kind of got lucky. He stayed healthy for most of the season after the trade. But, if you Google Jazz Chisholm injury history, and I think it's his Fox Sports link, it details his injury history all the way down from when he came into the league, and it's a long history. So the guy's always kind of banged up. It kind of comes with the territory with him, so it's not expected. But hopefully he can come back after the groin thing and be doing just what he's been doing, this whole 70% thing he's been talking about, going in there, not swinging out of his ass, not having to go 100% on everything and having some success. So fingers crossed that he's going to be good there. Donnie says DJ either goes to the bench or traded or DFA. No, DJ is going to play second base. Jazz is going to come back and play third. DJ has looked fine at second, so I think that's just what they're going to go with going forward. I don't see any reason to change it, especially if DJ is hitting. If DJ is hitting, they might not even trade for anything in the infield. So, there is some injury risk with DJ. There is some lower half issues, the foot, all the different stuff going on there. But if he stays healthy and keeps doing this, there's really no need to go out and get somebody there. I think he sticks around. Donnie says Yarbrough belongs in the pen. Yeah, he's in there. He's in the rotation right now because it's a need. Obviously, when Luis Hill comes back, I think Yarbrough will be a pretty important piece in the bullpen, and I look forward to that because they're going to need it. He can log innings. He can match up well. He can give the setup guys a nice breather back there. So I look forward to that day when he comes back to the bullpen. Fire Frank says stay close, and Fenway is a run-scoring park. So, yeah, it's going to be a high-flying offense, and it's going to be entertaining. You just hope the Yankees come out on top. Bernard says Peraza needs to be gone. Hamilton too, gone now. Yeah, Hamilton has not been good. I think he does have an option left, so they might send him to AAA eventually. But It sucks because I used to like Hamilton a lot, especially last season when he was throwing 97, 98 with that Slombio thing he throws. He was a good option for a while, but he just can't stay healthy, and he looks like a shell of his former self right now. So he's not really productive at all for this team. He's more of a mop-up guy. I would have brought him in yesterday to get the last 2 innings if he could have with a 6-0 lead, but they didn't go that route. They used a bunch of guys. Now you got Leiter Jr., who just went back-to-back days. He's not going to be available tomorrow, and he's one of their guys that they like to bring in often in certain situations. So it sucks that you're not going to have that in there, but he's kind of regressed a little bit. There are times where his splitter looks really good. He can come in and get some swing and miss or get some soft contact. So we look forward to possibly seeing Leiter Jr. on Saturday, probably not tomorrow, but we'll see how things play out and see who's available with the bullpen budget. We know they follow that bullpen budget very closely. Fire Frank says the pen's going to be super gassed by Sunday. Hopefully not. I really hope not, but it does sound like that's probably what's going to happen. I think Rodon will do better this time. I think so too. Bernard says, Donnie says Peraza is going to get traded. I don't think he's worth much, honestly. I think he's a bench glove at most. He can't hit. So he's a backup infielder. You put him out there at whatever position on the infield, and he's going to catch the ball. That's about all you can expect from him right now. So not sure what a glove only guy is worth right now in the open market, but you never know. Fire Frank says Max seems to live for these big moments too. Yes, in Fenway that'll be awesome. Enemy territory, man. It gets the juices flowing, it gets the adrenaline going, so that'll be fun to watch. Stan the Man says hopefully Judge starts to hit in the postseason. I pray to God, please. I need it so badly. I was heartbroken, man. Games 1 through 3 in the World Series. Oh, I think he was 0 for 12 with 7 Ks. I was devastated. I mean, I was counting on the guy, man. I live in LA. I can't have these damn LA Dodger fans on my ass all the time when I get back home. I was in New York for that. So, I knew if the Dodgers won that World Series, I was going to get shit for the rest of my life, and here we are. In part because Judge couldn't hit the damn ball in games 1 through 3. But, it's a new season. We're not dwelling on that stuff. Judge is crushing the ball this season and doing everything we hope he does. And hopefully it continues in October, and this is the year where he delivers. He's too good to not hit in the playoffs and going forward. He's going to figure it out sooner or later, and hopefully it's this year because the American League is weak. Some of these guys are not getting any younger, and we need it now. So hopefully Judge continues to crush the damn ball, and he's money in the playoffs. I'm praying for it. Please. Donnie Clark, Bernard says DJ is locked in. He sure as hell is. Donnie Clark says Judge is carrying the team on his back right now. It's a pretty balanced approach right now, honestly. If you look at the lineup, this is probably the most balanced lineup OPS wise that we've had in a long time. So very encouraging there. Yankee Great says, I guess Warren talking to Freed the other day must have been telling throw your fastball. He threw 36 four-seamers. Yeah, he's I got it right here real quick. He was a 47% four-seamer today. So, it's got a good spin. It plays well up in the strike zone. It has good carry through the zone. So that's what you look for with that thing. And it worked. Not a great lineup today, but he attacked him with a fastball primarily, and it worked out very well. So that's very nice. Yankee Great says, think he's still dealing with injury. Hamilton could be. Fire Frank says no. Leiter or Devin tomorrow. That makes sense. F. Ross just got recalled. I don't want to see him anywhere near the series. That scares the hell out of me, but we'll see. Bernard says he can't field. Who, Peraza? I don't know what games you've been watching, buddy, but Peraza's a pretty damn good fielder. Donnie says Judge is having a historic year. He absolutely is. Let's see. Stan the Man says the year Judge hits in the postseason, the Yankees won the World Series. I hope you are right. Bernard says, damn, if you include playoffs, Yankees are 9-1 versus KC. That is tough to do again against any team, let alone a decent team. Absolutely. They're absolutely owning them. I don't want to talk like this because, the universe sometimes will teach you a lesson, but we fared pretty well against the AL Central, man. Guardians, the Twins, the Royals over the years. We just have good success against them. The only one we haven't had success against historically, especially in the earlier to mid-2000s, was the damn Detroit Tigers. They scare me, but I think we can still beat them. It's going to take a lot. Going to take a lot of luck. Going to take good pitching. Going to take a solid, well-rounded team approach to beating School Bowl, out-managing A.J. Hinch, beating their bullpen, getting their guys out, especially, in Yankee Stadium in Detroit. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, we definitely own Kansas City of late. Fire Frank says Judge has never really been locked in or sometimes even fully healthy during the playoffs. If he ever is, look out. I don't know what it is, but they got to figure it out. They got to figure it out Sunday. He's too good to just keep struggling like this when the lights are brightest. He does it all season when the lights are bright in Yankee Stadium. Everyone's watching him. He's the captain. He's high paid, whatever. It's got to happen one of these years. He's going to go off in the playoffs, and I just hope it's soon because we got a window of opportunity here where the American League's not great. The Yankees pitching looks good. Rotation looks good. Lineup's good. Hopefully the bullpen gets a little fixed up here at the deadline, but the time is now. They got to win now. Cole's coming off of an injury. Probably won't be 100% next year, half of the season. Judge is, pushing his mid-30s. Stanton's getting up there. So, Goldschmidt's an older guy. Max Fried will be around for a while, so that's nice. We got some good pitching prospects coming as well. But, this core group of stars, Judge and Cole and Stanton and, guys like that, it's time to win. It's time to get him a chip. Let's see. Donnie says, can't wait for Fried striking out Glaber. Hopefully, I know sometimes Glaber has those moments of offensive prowess there where he hits pretty well. So I hope that happens. Bernard says Yankees have the best road record in the majors at 21-13. That's fantastic. Donnie says, looked like the O's are rebuilding. They just traded Gunnar. Did the Orioles just trade Gunnar? Are you fucking with me here? Let me take a look here. Let me take a look here and see if you are pulling my leg. I don't see anything yet. I am searching now. Gunnar Henderson. Where did they trade him to? Wait. No, that's not right. Did you get... No, I think you got trolled there, buddy. I don't see anything. Yeah, he's sticking around. You were looking at the talking Bossa Bell. It's the talking Yankees. Yeah. No, it's the talking baseball parody account. It says Orioles trade 23-year-old star Gunnar Henderson to the Dodgers. It's fake. Sorry. For a second there, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But no, he's got years of control, and he's too talented for them to move him this early. So definitely don't see that happening ever, unless it's some crazy deal where they, get something that sweeps them off their feet. But I don't think he's for sale. Yeah, he's fake news. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Sometimes those pages they trick us a little bit, especially NBA Centel. You seen that one? CENTEL. They absolutely cook people on those fake news articles. But all right, guys, it's been a fun week talking baseball with you guys. Really fun series coming up against the Red Sox. Very much looking forward to that. Even when the Red Sox aren't good, it's an entertaining series to watch. It's must-watch television. It's rivalry baseball. The crowd's into it. The crowd's packed. Yankees, Red Sox, you can never predict what's going to happen. No lead is safe ever. Tons of offense. So it's going to be interesting. It's always hot on Twitter, too. Yankees and Red Sox fans going at it. Always a good time. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that one. But I will see you guys on Monday. Great having you all in here. If you're watching on Twitter tonight, go to my Twitter page, click the blue link in my bio, subscribe to the Lasagna channel on YouTube, like this video, and like all the other ones too. I would really appreciate it. But for now, have a great rest of your night, and I will see you guys later. Go Yanks.